Action.
That was a fast action.
Well, sometimes you like to mess with me and I don't like. All right, we are recording on the task cam.
Wherever you say task cam, do you think it's like a task cam?
No,
Oh.
it's a task cam. Welcome to Weekly Check-In, numero quattro.
Do we get some awards for
Hard
like
to do four
doing a
fingers
month
with
of
pen.
weekly check-in?
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Yeah, here you go. It's a notebook award. Congratulations, Caroline.
I'd like to thank my mother.
That's enough. All right, so where do we begin, Caroline?
I think we begin. Let's talk about updated expenses.
All right, we were a little nervous to share this with you because
Yes. So this is-
our
yeah.
expenses have.
We want everybody to keep in mind that you do not need to spend a big amount of money in order to get an idea off the ground.
I'm very curious if people are watching this and they're thinking, oh man,
They're gonna say
they've
like
spent
$100,000.
$100,000.
Not $1 million.
That's $1 million.
Is it?
I don't know.
Either.
All right.
None of us can do the zeros.
So if you didn't watch our previous check-in where we talked about expenses, which I believe was 2 check-ins ago, doesn't matter. I
No chance,
told
that's
you that amount was $3,268 that we had spent. That included gear, it included
Mostly gear.
Some software and stuff, but yeah, mostly gear. I think the majority of that was gear. Now, where we are at this point. So because the dashboard for Wandering Aimfully has been starting to be built, we talked about this in how we were building Wandering Aimfully, that we have 2 developers, essentially a front-end developer, my friend Ben that I've known for years, and then Mark, who is a WordPress core developer, so very fancy.
Very fancy.
That I've known for a couple of years. I actually met him at a TEDx, which was kind of fun. Mark is coming on board to kind of do all the stuff that we want to do on the back end with Wandering Aimfully, which we can talk a little bit more about, but you can read a lot more on the post about that. So Mark, we will have paid $6,000.
Fun coupons. See that? A fun coupon.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's a lot more than we wanted to spend on development cost.
However,
Yeah.
That's
not the total, by the way.
No, but I just want to say a point about this is where it goes back to being on the same page about what your priorities are at the beginning. So you guys have in other videos heard us talk about how much and how important the customer dashboard experience is to us. We have no intention of just asking people to pay us money every month and giving them just like a bad experience or just access to our stuff, you know?
And not giving them what we've been giving them before. So it's not even like a knock on anybody who creates anything. It's what we've created before.
Exactly. So the whole reason we're doing this and investing money into the customer dashboard experience is because we have learned from experience, our own experience of wanting to create a better experience for our customers. So we were on the same page with that beforehand. So it's like some of these costs are more than what we wanted to pay, but it's not, but it's all towards the goal that we both had at the beginning.
So I will say that we knew Mark was going to be a cost. I was hoping it would be about $3,000. Now it's about $6,000. I'm really hoping it doesn't go beyond that, but there's a chance that it may, and we just have to look at it as an investment in the thing we're building long term, and know that what we're building will hopefully be worth that for people.
Now,
our dog is gonna play with the
What do you want to
flamingo.
do about our dog?
Hey, not right now. Here, if you want to play with it, it can be over
It's
there.
over there.
Yeah, this is, you know, whatever. Okay, so the other things that I have on my list to update you are Restrict Content Pro. That is how we'll be taking payments and how we'll be restricting people's access to things in Wandering Aimfully. Plaxico, you are gonna rip out cords and it is gonna make me so unhappy. It's not gonna be good. You can do that over there.
Hey.
You stay. Hey,
This is not the
sit down.
time for
You stay.
this.
You stay. Sit down.
You're parenting in action.
No, you stay. Stop.
You're
You
not
stay.
allowed. This is Restrict Content Pro.
Yeah.
You're not a paying member of this area
The flamingo.
anymore.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
We bought our friend Jen dinner, who took our photos. That was $213.
Maybe you can do like a ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching of like 3 photos she took.
Are you gonna edit this?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Plaxico.
Caroline also is purchasing a font for us, and that is a Sentinel font for $99 a year, which is not bad.
It's a web font, no.
I mean, when I used to make things with Paul Jarvis, our font budget
I mean,
was
I say that.
through
We
the
might
roof.
have to get the desktop font too, so.
Oh boy.
We'll keep
And
you
then
updated.
Simplecast is what we're going to use to host the Wandering Aimfully show, which is the podcast portion. The video portion will go on YouTube, which costs us nothing. So our grand total of how much we have spent so far is $10,233. Woof.
This emoji.
Woof. But
Jason,
I just wanted to bring it up because I wanted to be honest about the expenses. That's part of what we do around here. These things cost money to build. It is not that we're spending $10,000 on the first version of this. I think that's also the important thing to remember. Buy My Future was the first version of this. Then Buy Our Future was the second version. So we've incrementally grown to a place where we're spending this amount of money to build something that is so custom and to the exact experience we want to give to our Wandering Aimfully members. That's why we're investing in it.
Completely. And we're investing in the things that we care about, which is like upping the production quality of some of our content and design and the customer experience. All of these things are very intentional expenses. They are backed by our values and what we care about and the experience we want to create. So that's all we'll say on the justification of spending money.
I have another follow-up, which is fun. That's why we do these weekly check-ins, because I get to follow up on the things that I wanted. In the first weekly check-in, I talked about our YouTube channel, putting up YouTube views, and how I was very worried that I was gonna get caught up in the metrics, the vanity metrics,
This was in the section on stats where we were talking about, do we track the stats? Do we not?
Yeah. So I just had this idea of, it shouldn't be that hard to block these numbers on YouTube when I'm actually looking at our YouTube account. I think a developer could do that pretty easily through a Chrome extension. Of course, I think these things, I can't do them, but I tweeted it out. And I got a DM from a guy named Ashik, or Ashik, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I just did 2, so hopefully that covers them both. And Ashik said, I can make this for you, this isn't that difficult. And about a week later, he DM'd me a prototype, and I installed it on Google Chrome, and I couldn't see subscribers or viewers in our dashboard.
So you have no idea.
And I love it. So it's called Less Vanity Metrics on YouTube. If you want to search the Chrome extension store, you can find it. If you want to block yourself from being able to see the views and subscribers. And there's a nice little aside to this, is that it blocks the subscribers and view count of other accounts as well.
I love that
I didn't
part.
even think about that, and it does it just because it's the same kind of content in the back end.
But that's cool, right?
I love it, yeah. I go to people's videos and I'm like, I have no idea how many views this has. I guess I'm gonna have to watch it and see what it's like.
And then you don't have this like bolstered view of whether their content is good or bad based on how many other people like it. You can just decide for yourself, because there could be someone out there with less than 1,000 subscribers who's amazing, and there could be someone out there who has 1 million subscribers, and you're like, this does not resonate with me at all. So it's kind of cool that you have like a blank slate.
So if you want to install it, whether you're making videos or not, Less Vanity Metrics on YouTube, search for it in the Chrome extension store, you will find it.
It's pretty cool.
I'm really happy that Ashik made that, or Ashik, however you pronounce it. I put his Twitter handle up on here if you wanted to just reach out to him and say, hey, thanks for building this thing.
That's cool.
We really appreciate it.
Let's talk about how many meetings we've had in the past week. So do you think it's just that we're getting to this place in the build process where people are calling us?
Whoa, who's calling you?
Me?
Yeah, that's your phone.
I'm not sure.
My phone's right here. We're just gonna let it roll. You're not gonna be able to hear it in the background anyway, because this mic is so good.
So I think we're getting to that point in the build where we talked about this during our reevaluating timelines meeting, but things are starting to get complicated because now we're approaching the point where we're getting close to that launch date we set. The developers are building the things. We are still designing things. So it's like a lot of things coming together. We're no longer able to kind of take it in chunks, which means as things get more complex, organization gets more important. So Jason and I are having to have
meetings on meetings on. It's meetings every single day.
And multiple a day, where it's like, okay, we really need to nail down the content. We really need to nail down the marketing plan. We need to nail down, are we gonna launch on the first these things?
Yeah, and I think the big reason is because we need to communicate all of the stuff that needs to be done, and you just can't do that in like one meeting and then call it good. You have to do it on individual basis and where you are in each project's little like timeline of its own.
Yeah, and the way that we work at least is like 2 heads are better than 1 type of thing. So we like to get in the same room and say, okay, let's think through the entire pre-order process. And so we'll sit down and go, okay, then we need to update the tags and drip. So we'll kind of ping pong back and forth.
Ooh.
Yeah, ping pong. Until we get to a place where we feel like we've covered all the bases of things that need to get accomplished for that particular part of the project, divvy them up, when they need to happen, et cetera, et cetera. So just to give you behind the scenes on our process, we're sort of over communicating, having more meetings than maybe even we would need to, but just so that nothing falls through the cracks.
And those meetings in the past, a little bit more than 24 hours, but about 24 hours, we met with Jen Wojcik.
So I've got my collection here. You can customize your
and she showed us how to use Photo Mechanic and Lightroom, which is how we're editing all these raw photos that she took. 1,883 amazing photos. We do not need all of them, but so we met with her. Then we went and got coffee today, and we kind of reevaluated our timeline because next week, after recording this, we're actually on a family vacation. So I don't know why it was a vacation, but we're doing that. So we're probably gonna be doing a lot less because we wanna actually enjoy that time. So we met and did that. And then we got on a call with Ben, who the aforementioned developer, to talk about kind of where he was and just hopefully make sure he was still sane for all the things we're having him do. So we've been doing a lot of stuff, and you kind of have to just keep talking about it and keep going through it. And
That's just the past 24 hours.
that's just the past 24 hours.
So that begs the question, since we like teased it a little bit, are we?
What does it mean to beg the question?
It's that you said something that then would beg the question.
I really love it when you define things with the thing. What does a stop sign mean? It means
That
a
it's
sign
that
where you stop. Yeah.
That's a great
Also,
definition.
I just wanted to mention that's a little tease to something we're going to do on the Wandering Aimfully show and podcast. Is a little segment. I'm not going to tell them what it is because I want them to find out
You're
on the
the
first
worst
episode.
at that.
I'm the
Here's
best.
a little tease with no information.
That begs the question, though.
That begs the question, because we teased it a little bit in the last segment. Are we going to be able to stick to our aforementioned May 1st launch date?
So no is the short answer, but I also wanted to bring something up here. We talked
Sure.
about this when we decided on our new launch date, which spoils the fun of that we're not launching on May 1st. But before that, I wanted to mention that this launch date, and if you're launching a project, is probably so important to you, and it's so ingrained in your thought process, but for everybody else watching, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's also not that important that someone couldn't wait a couple more weeks, whereas it feels so important
Right.
to you because everything you've done has been leading up to this date and whatever. And when you tell people like, oh, we got to move it back, like everyone else's reaction is probably, oh, okay, cool. But our reaction is like, we don't want to tell everybody.
In your mind, you have it circled on your calendar like this big, and you assume that, you don't know that you're assuming this, but you think everyone else has it circled on their calendar.
Right, and they don't.
Because we were sitting at our meeting, and I was like, what do you mean? We're gonna have to update everything. And Jason was like, what are we gonna update? And I go, it's all over the homepage. And
She literally says,
is
like,
it all over the homepage? And there's this one place where it says like, leading
in
up
small,
to May 1st.
in small body
And I
font
was
too.
like, oh.
It's not.
It's
not.
not.
all over.
It's not.
But it's so
So-
important to us that we think about it every single day. And if you're launching a project that you think about every day. So anyway, we are moving the launch date from May 1st to May 21st. So that gives us essentially 20 days, but it gives our developers more time. It gives us more time to do a lot of different things, like onboarding our existing customers, taking pre-orders, which we definitely want to do here in a very short amount of time. You'll find out if you're on the Wandering Aimfully email list or if you read our posts, you will know when that's happening. Testing everything and migrating over content. And there's so many other things to think about that I can't even think about them right now.
Yeah.
But we're okay with moving the launch date because it's completely arbitrary.
Yes.
We made it up in the first place. There was no rhyme or reason to May 1st other than we just wanted to pick a date because if you don't have one, then things can just go on forever.
And yeah, I'm personally very motivated by deadlines. So I knew that our deadline of May 1st was very aggressive. And I think we even mentioned it in like our first check-in, but I wanted it to be aggressive because I knew that that would motivate me and push me. And I'm so glad that we made that sort of aggressive because now that we have 3 weeks on the back end of it, it feels like, oh, this feels doable. This feels accomplishable. But I think if we had started out with the May 21st, we would find ourselves having to push it back.
You fill the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's our advice to anyone out there who's trying to build a project is like, give yourself kind of that little bit of squeeze, but then give yourself also the permission and the flexibility to add time onto it and recognize that you're the only one, who's controlling that deadline.
Do you think we could whisper and they could hear it?
Yeah.
Then let's just finish the video like this. Everyone's gonna be going,
That's so great.
turn the volume up. Hey, if you enjoyed this weekly check and our other videos we've been posting, subscribe on YouTube. It's a way for you to I don't know, how would you just describe subscribing?
I would say that it's a way for you to subscribe to people that you really enjoy.
So you're gonna define subscribing with the word subscribe?
You would scribe, but with sub.
Oh, that's interesting. Like a sub sandwich, you would be a scribe. I get it. Yeah, it's a good sandwich shop name. Yeah, it's really good.
Definitions.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. Give a thumbs up if you like this. Maybe tell a friend. I don't know.
Bye.
Bye.